Hello and welcome to Model Kit Stuff and welcome to my latest B17 group build update. Yes, hello and welcome back to the B17 group build update. How are you all doing? Well, I'm about to show you where I've got up to. So after a weekend working on this, we could, in theory, if we were following the instructions, close this fuselage up now because all my interior is done, and I've cleaned up parts for the next section, which is the bull turret that hangs underneath through this hole here, and we're going to talk about that in a minute, but let me talk you through my experience of building up this. So largely there is no issues. All of this goes together really well. You can see the interior's all painted up and done, and didn't give us any challenges. We've also done some wood graining in the wood in the front there. You can see some knots on the table and stuff, all of which I will show you how I do that in the build diary. So we'll talk about that in a minute as well. So the most fiddly part of building all this interior is actually the Bombay, but once you've got it together, it does look really cool. So yeah, it certainly looks the part. I believe if you put in the hand ropes, I believe they would be visible. I'm choosing not to, but I know there's been some discussion about it. Not clear to me whether they should be natural rope or yellow. I suspect in some of the museums aircraft it's yellow so that it's visible to the public, so more health and safety than reality, but I don't know that for sure. Anyway, what we've done is we've got the glazing into the fuselage halves, and as you can see, I've then put the masks on. So I've got vinyl masks in my masking set, and the reason why we've done that now is because it's easy to hold the glass in place while you're putting it on. It's easier to do it, and if you do happen to press too hard and the glass falls out, you've not got to rattle a model around and try and fish it out. So it's easier to do it now, so that's a little tip. What I have found though is this area here causes quite a bit of problems with the fit of the fuselage around this area here. So initially I thought it was this, and as you can see, I've sanded this all smooth with this bulkhead, but actually it's this area and this area here that's causing a little fit issue. And when I put these two halves together, you can see, if I just close this up, that it closes up really nicely underneath, but on the top I've got a gap. And now I've done a lot of sanding work and I've almost got it together, but I'm not sure that I'll get it much closer together, so we might have very small hairline crack to fill. We will see. Now, I'm not gluing my fuselage halves together at this stage. I'm going to leave it as late as possible because I want to build up the various fittings on the front, the turrets and stuff, and just see what we can do around painting, because I'd like to fit the turrets after painting the fuselage, if that is at all possible. So like the tail section, can we fit that after, for example, or because there's guns sticking out and stuff, it just becomes a bit difficult to mask and a bit more difficult to paint. So the easier we can make that job, the better. And one of the first things we need to understand is what we can do with the turret that goes underneath here. So I've been looking at that, and if I show you on the instructions, that fits into place like that before you you put your fuselage halves together, which is then follows on for that clamping your tail piece. But actually, when you look at the construction, you've got a couple of options. You could either mount that all of that into place separately, so put some adhesive on these edges here and meet it up to there. I think that's probably the more tricky solution. Or you could do what I'm planning to do, which is to glue this lot into place while your fuselage is open, and then after painting marry it up to that point there. So that's what I've been looking at. And if I take the fuselage halves together, what we would have is we'd have this assembly here. Put it in the right way around would help, which goes through this hole and then mounts inside like so. And it's just when you put it on, it's a bit tricky to do this while on camera, but when you put this on, it's sort of mounted at that sort of height, so you can get to it quite easily through there, and then your ball turret's mounted in that, and that protrudes at the top so that you're mounted inside. So I believe it's doable, so that's what I'm gonna attempt to do. So yeah, that's the plan. But as you can see, my insides are done, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some photographs of where I am, and they're gonna go into the midway video. So we've talked about this. We asked if people wanted to do this, and the response overwhelmingly was yes. So now you can start to do that. But I need you to do it in a certain format and give me certain information so I can build a good looking video. So firstly, what you need to do is send me an email to modelkitstuff at gmail.com, and in the title, the subject of the email, put B17, so it's easy for me to find them. I get a lot of emails, so if you put B17 in there, I'll know that it's relevant to the video. And then in your email, I want 2 or 3 photographs of where you've got to at this halfway point. So if you've not started it, maybe you ought to just send me the box, or if you're nearly finished it, send me where you're up to, including some inside shots if you've taken them. Let's show off all that interior detail that people have done. So 2 or 3 good photographs of where you've got to. There's 50 people in this, so in theory, or over 50, in theory that would be, if everyone sent in 3, you've got 150 images to look at. And at 5 seconds each, that's still a fairly decent video. Now, I want some supporting information with it as well. So what I need is, in this order, please, and then I can copy and paste it into the video. The aircraft name, the scale, the brand, and then your name. Now, if you're a channel, I don't mind you using the channel name. You could go with Jason, or you could go with Model Kit Stuff, whichever you prefer, or maybe both if you like. But I need to know, importantly, the aircraft name, and its scale and the manufacturer. So, for example, if I was doing it, I would be in the email. I would be saying Milkwagon 172 Airfix Jason Model Kit Stuff. That's what I'd be doing. That's the information that I'm going to share in the video with your pictures. So what will happen is you'll have those 2 or 3 pictures with that information running over it. So it might come up as Milkwagon first, and then it'll be Airfix 172, and then finally in the final picture it'll say Model Kit Stuff Jason. So that's sort of the format, how I'd like to string it together. So you need to give me that information. Listen, if you want to put other stuff in the email, you want to talk to me about how you're generally doing and and what have you, that's fine. But clearly have that information in that order so I can cut and paste it. So it's aircraft name, underneath, scale, underneath, brand, underneath your name or channel name. So that's how I'd like that in one block, and then you can say whatever else you might want to say. If you've got more than 3 photographs in yours, if you send me 10, then I'm going to pick a maximum of 3. So to make sure you get the 3 pictures you'd like people to see, don't give me more than 3. Otherwise, I'm going to choose some. If you want to just send me 1, that's also fine. It's a maximum, not a minimum. So that's what we want to do. I will do a little separate video for anyone who's not catching the updates, so they know what we're doing. But yeah, that's what we can do. We can start doing that from now, and I'll start building that video, which we will put out at the end of April, beginning of May. So we've got a little bit of time for a couple of reminders and for you to take your photographs. I don't mind what format you take your photographs in. I can pretty much scale anything into the editing software, so it's not too much of a problem. If I do have a problem with your images, I will come back to you, but we probably will be okay. So there you go. That's where I'm up to with the fuselage. Now, when it comes to the ball turret, all of this gets painted in the interior green. And for those of you who've perhaps not done this sort of thing before, the plan will be to paint these individual parts. The guns are called out as black, but I will be doing them gunmetal with a black wash, which will just bring out some of the little perforations in the jacket around the gun, and then everything else will get painted in the green. But for the actual ball turret itself, we will put the masking on, and we will paint these in the interior green first, so that when you see inside, you'll see the interior green. Now, it's not a perfect solution because this is shiny on the inside, but it will trick the eye when you look at it. So we'll paint it interior green first with it masked, because it's a lot easier than trying to paint the smooth surfaces inside and follow the lines. Then we can paint over it in the primer, ready for the silver colour or whatever colour it ends up being. I'm not sure if the turrets are actually a slightly different colour. I think they're still silver, but I'm fairly sure the front one at least is grey. So yeah, we need to look into that, but that will be the plan. I'm not sure yet whether I'm building up and then painting, but I think what I'm going to do is mask it and paint these as individual items first, although one of these had quite a bit of flash on, and as a result I do have a small gap that needs resolving. So we might have to build that half up and then touch up the green on the inside where the filler is. So there's always a little something, isn't there? But that's sort of where we are. So my next step will be to paint all of these parts individually, then assemble the turret, then assemble that assembly. That can be on the turret, and then that can be left as a sub-assembly. This can be installed into the aircraft, and that's pretty much where I'm up to. So that'll take me then to step 53, and then next time I pick up the B-17, which will be in a couple of weeks time now, we'll be looking at all of this, tail and wings. So quite a bit to do with the tail and the wings, one way or another. A good number of parts to be fitted inside before you put them together, and that gets us ever more closer to our first bits of aftermarket as well. So I'm hoping the next weekend that I work on it, I'll get it to the point where we could fit wings, but then we've got more turrets to do, we've got engines to do and stuff like that, landing gear, all of which I want to build up before I put the fuselage halves together. So yeah, that's where I'm up to. Where are you guys up to? Please let me know in the comments how your builds are going. I know some of you are just starting out, others of you are nearly finishing up, so do let us know if you've got any questions, if you've got any things that are causing you problems, or things that you think other modelers should look out for if you're building something different to the Airfix kit. Then by all means put that in the comments too, so everyone can share in that, and start sending me that email with the photos. I'll do a separate video on that and get that up very soon. So thanks very much for following, thanks very much for being part of the group build. It's gonna be spectacular when we've got all these done and we put a video together of everyone's builds. It's going to be absolutely spectacular. 50 B-17s all together. Could possibly be the largest collection of B-17s this side of the Second World War. Who knows? Right, thank you very much. You keep building, enjoy your modelling, and I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.
Hi, and thanks for watching. You can support the channel by hitting the like button, and if you haven't subscribed, please consider the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you don't miss any content that I put out. Model Kit Stuff is a self-funded channel, and I don't do membership or Patreon or buy me a coffee. So if you'd like to further donate to the channel and ensure the cameras keep rolling and the content keeps coming, then you can consider making a donation through my PayPal. You will find a link to that in the text below. You enjoy your modelling, and I'll see you soon.